Walk past a preschool yard on a wet afternoon, and the scene usually looks like pure, unfiltered chaos. You see puffy snowsuits in perpetual motion and a lot of mud. It is easy to look through the chain-link fence and see a holding pen. We tend to view this time outside as recess, a physical pressure valve where children burn off excess energy so the adults can finally take a breath. But look closer at how they handle the environment. A heavy bucket of water requires 3 kids to coordinate their movements to carry it. A collection of damp pine cones is carefully negotiated and traded as a specific form of currency. The environment provides the materials, but dropping a group of 4-year-olds into a forest does not automatically generate cognitive or social breakthroughs. The catalyst that transforms a muddy free-for-all into a targeted developmental environment isn't the physical yard itself. It is the intentional mindset of the adults standing within it. To understand the mechanics of outdoor learning, we have to look at the tools available. Indoors, objects generally have rigid, predefined purposes. A plastic steering wheel is meant for driving. A puzzle piece only fits in one slot. Outdoors, children encounter loose parts. A rock comes with no instructions. Depending on the rules of the game the children invent, that rock can be currency, a boat, or a building material. Because the object lacks built-in directions, the child's brain has to fill the void. They have to actively use language to explain their new rules to their peers, relying on imagination and logic to assign the object a value. The physical space itself changes how these negotiations play out. Remove walls and corners, and you eliminate the spatial competition that often triggers typical preschool conflicts. Without limited square footage to fight over, researchers observe that children naturally form a fluid network, often called a beehive. They cluster in large cooperative groups where typical age and gender divisions easily break down. Yet open space and loose parts are still just raw materials. They remain inert until an educational architect steps in to activate them. Imagine 2 groups of children walking into the exact same patch of woods. What they learn that day depends entirely on the pedagogical philosophy of the adult leading them. Take the spontaneous co-discoverer. This teacher might have a daily schedule planned, but the moment a child spots an active ant trail, the schedule is gone. The forest floor becomes an impromptu biology lesson. This spontaneous approach is deeply rooted in the theories of psychologist Lev Vygotsky. He argued an educator's role is to be a social guide through a child's experiences, rather than an authority dictating facts. Now look at the structured planner. They see a steep, grassy hill, and they view it as a calculated mechanism to practice specific gross motor skills, like balance and spatial awareness. This systematic use of the environment draws directly from the methods of Maria Montessori, where every interaction serves a deliberate developmental purpose. Both methods yield rich results, but both immediately collapse under the weight of understaffing. When the ratio of children to adults climbs too high, the educator drops into a desperate survival mode. You cannot guide a spontaneous biology lesson or target motor skills when your entire focus is spent making sure 20 kids don't wander off. Without the bandwidth to actively guide, the quality of outdoor learning halts. The curriculum is dictated entirely by the teacher's capacity to engage, not by the presence of trees and mud. Let's go back to that muddy yard from the beginning, only this time focus past the snowsuits and watch the teacher observing from the edge of the puddle. They are executing a technique called scaffolding. When a child struggles to balance a heavy branch across a rock, the teacher doesn't step in and solve the problem for them. Instead, they offer a perfectly timed, open-ended question. This provides a mental bridge, stretching the child's understanding to a level they couldn't reach alone. The balance here is delicate. If the adult offers too little support, the child gets frustrated and quits. If they offer too much, they hijack the play and erase the child's agency. At this level of engagement, a simple outdoor yard functions as a sophisticated classroom, where a demanding, invisible curriculum is carried out in real time. Maximizing early development requires more than just updated playgrounds. It requires the investment to properly staff and support the professionals who possess the skill to identify and activate the learning potential in a simple pile of sticks.